Hi, ladies. This is Love from Hanging Out with Love. What's up with y'all today? It is just starting to rain. It was cloudy outside. I wasn't outside much today at all. But it was kind of cloudy, and now, it's a little drizzle. But I'm waiting on my lunch, so I'm going to be out here for a little while. Hey, Lee. So the topic for today is very near and dear to my heart. Any of you who work with me one-on-one know that I'm all about mindset and accountability, okay? And today I wanted to talk about women's intuition because we have it. And guess what? Our intuition works. Never fails us, not even once. Never fails us. And for those of you who are like, well, God tells me. Listen, God gave us the gift, okay? So you don't have to think about all that. Just focus on the fact that it's in you and that when you hear it, you need to listen to it, no matter the situation. If you can listen to it in the car and your spirit tells you not to turn down a certain road or to make a left at the lights, or maybe you should go here and then you got a free dessert, right? If you can listen to your inner voice then, why can't you listen to it when it comes to matters of the heart? If you can say, I have a bad feeling about this job, I don't want to take it, and then a couple weeks later you get an even better offer, then why can't you listen to your inner voice when it comes to your relationships? Y'all really be waiting for evidence on certain things, and it's very dangerous. And not bashing anyone, we're taught that way. So let me preface it with that. We are taught to want to have evidence first. Even gaslighted too. Men will say, well, you don't have any proof. How do you know that man is cheating? Wait till you get the proof. But women will wait forever waiting on a man to slip up. Not all men are dumb. Not all men do things and aren't strategic about it. And I think that's another misconception, is that just because we have intuition, it means that men are always going to get caught in every little thing, or that we'll have proof right in front of us, when in reality, it starts up here and in here first, right? You're not always going to have proof, and you do not need proof to make decisions. So where the hell are you going with this, love? When you get on this level up journey, it'll be even more important for you to listen to your intuition. Why? Because now you're in the big leagues. Now you're dealing with men who are charismatic, who have done the work on themselves to be able to have an intellectual conversation, who can charm you and have you doing things differently and inspiring you to start a business, or, investing in you so that your current business can grow and flourish. And guess what? It feels good to be in that spot. It feels good to finally have someone who's on his P's and Q's. That feels good. So guess what? When we're dealing with a man like that, it's easier for us to overlook things than it is for Dusty, because Dusty doesn't do shit for us. Dusty was never that supportive. Dusty didn't have the money to invest in us like that. Or maybe he did, but just didn't care enough about us to even care what we were doing, what we cared about, what we were inspired by, or any of that. He was happy as long as our legs were spread. He was happy when we didn't have standards, right? So when you're dealing with these men, the strategy becomes all that much more important. And guess what else is important? What else is important is that this actually becomes a part of who you are. Because see, now these men are accustomed to dealing with a lot more women. So if you know that the scumbags have a lot of women on them, how much more do you feel like women will be attracted to men who have money, who are educated, intelligent, have their own place, have a car, not just their own place, not just an apartment, but own a home, are financially literate? Women are literally there. You see this? This is the vagina. They're throwing it at them. Okay? They're throwing it at them. These men are beating women off with a stick. They're turning down women every day. So when it's not really a part of you and who you are at the core, you're going to run into issues. Yes, I haven't been able to pay for it yet, but they did take my order. The order is for love.
Okay. Can I take your card?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, yeah, it has to be a part of you. And with that being said, when it comes to making changes, like real change, because this is going to fuck y'all up a little bit. Hey, Joy. This is gonna mess y'all up a little bit, and I'm sorry that I got to do it. But I was actually thinking about this earlier, so I'm glad it crossed my mind. When it comes to making changes, a lot of you will say, you know what, I didn't have standards in a relationship before, so now I'm going to have standards, right? I didn't require a man to take me out and court me. I didn't require a man to pay bills while we were living together. I didn't require a man to introduce me to people while we were all hanging out. I was just kind of sitting there, you know, whatever your case may be, right? You didn't require any of that. And so you felt like the alternative for you.
Okay, if you'll sign that, it's not quite ready yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
and I'll bring it
welcome.
out as soon as it's ready.
Okay. So your alternative to that, hey Kelly, your alternative to that is to set the standards without changing your mentality and your mindset. It's almost like y'all pretend, and I know people have told you this, like, hey, just move on. Hey, just move on. Yes, you do have to move on. You have to move on so that mentally you don't stay stuck, but that doesn't take away the fact that you have to assess what came from that relationship. Did I allow this man to impact my self-esteem? Did I allow him to impact my decision making to where I don't trust myself anymore? That matters. So yes, put the standards in place, but work on the core of you, because that's when it gets to the point where now, okay, I have standards, so I'm attracting better men. However, I'm not mentally in a place to receive them. And as a woman, that's what you are, a receiver. This is why we have a hole and a man has a poker, right? We are receivers by nature. You can't be receptive to a man that really loves you when you haven't done the work on yourself. You can't. Hey, Glam. You can't. You have to do the work on yourself first. So it's not enough to change your standards and then not change the person, because you're going to ruin that man, or he gonna cut you off. If he decides to stay, which a man who loves and values himself would not do that, not forever, because you have to remember, there are some men who will say, you know what, you've been through a lot and I want to love you through that. I know I'm the man for you. I know I can love you better than that. I want to love you through that, right? So you could accept that, but what kind of work are you doing on yourself in the process so that you're not making him be accountable for other people's mistakes? Because I'll be honest with you, I start talking to a guy and he get to talking about his trust issues, I'm cutting him the fuck off, like, now. Yeah, that's not gonna work for me. Even in a relationship, oh, well, she cheated on me and she lied and she, I gave her the money and she spent it on, well, I'm gonna spend it on bills. We live together. I'm gonna spend it on bills, right? Hey, Fire Gal. So you're not going to hold me accountable for somebody else's mistakes. And you can't do that either. So this is how you know, and I'll end it with this and I'll wrap it up. This is how you know that you are damaged with standards. I like how I put that. This is how you know that you're damaged with standards. If when you think about men, it's all negative, or immediately you get on the phone with someone and you're listening for the games, you're sort of anticipating for them to mess up, you're not enjoying yourself, you're not able to just be in the moment, you are dealing with some issues from that previous relationship. What's a good response when a man says, I've been used before, or I want a woman to love me for me? Okay. Well, a good response when a man says, I've been used before, that's a good question. So when a man says, I've been used before, I ask him, well, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And he will probably say, oh, well, in the past I've had women use me for this and that. And I'm like, well, why'd you allow that? I had a guy tell me, I said, why'd you allow that? He said, I didn't allow it. It just happened. My guard was let down. I'm like, oh, okay. Do you have poor judgment? How do you, and that lets you know right there that a man is not having good intentions. Now, he could really be damaged, but most men that say stuff like that, they don't have good intentions for you. Because if I want to be your man and I want to lead you, right? If I'm supposed to be the head of household, why would I want you to think I have poor judgment? I'm not bringing that shit up. You might be able to tell by some of my mannerisms that I have trust issues, but I'm not going to tell you that. Right? So that's how I would respond to that. You've been used before. Why would you allow something like that? That's crazy. And for you, don't even tell him. It's no reason for you to even bring up your past and what you've been through. And that's another thing. The majority of us have been hurt. We've all been through relationships. We've all been through, situations that didn't really serve us. But when you bring it up, that's like, okay, I'm telling you this now because you might see this behavior. This is how men know when you're insecure. Because why are you telling me that? Why are you prefacing this relationship with, oh, I've been hurt before? You're explaining something. You're explaining I have trust issues. I might be blowing up your phone. I might be doing this. I might be doing that, right? So they're trying to groom you so that you won't ask for anything. I'm not dealing with no man who's not a giver, period. Right. And you can tell, it's not even hard to pick up on. I can tell what type of man he is by the effort that he puts in to even talk to me. When a man keeps saying, oh yeah, I'm always available. You can always call me. I'm free for a call. You're not for me. You're already looking for me to chase you. You already want me to pursue. I understand that you're available for a call. I have your number and I don't give a fuck. I'm not calling you. You call me. This is you showing your interest. Now, once I become interested back into you, like on a relationship kind of level, I start to do more, right? How a woman, you said, no, take me on a date, homie. Hey, queen. So for a woman, that doesn't mean that you cannot reciprocate his energy, right? Because some people be like, well, I want to, reciprocate. You can reciprocate that energy. So when he calls you, it's not for you all the time to be like, oh, I'm just not going to answer it. I'm just not going to talk to him. Why? You want to talk. You can limit your conversation to where it's not like he hears from you so much. He's hearing from you all the time that it gets boring, right? But keep it spicy. Keep the conversations going. If he texts you good morning, it's okay to text him back. Now, I have a rule of thumb. I wake up pretty early in the morning, and men know that because they know, like, I have my routine. I work out, right? But just because I'm up doesn't mean text me. I'm not texting you back in the morning because that's my me time. I'll text you back at 10 a.m. or after. I don't tell them that. I just show it with my actions. And guess what? A man that's paying attention, he's going to start texting you around 10 a.m. because that's when you respond. So you got to pay attention. And you'll notice a man that's really paying attention to you by the way he maneuvers his behavior. I went 2 weeks without talking to a dude. He finally calls me like, you must have been busy. Damn right. Absolutely. Super busy, babe. You gotta get in where you fit in. You gotta squeeze yourself into my schedule. I'm not accommodating a man who's not putting himself out there to be accommodated. That's borderline desperate, right? So all in all, yes, it's absolutely good to set standards, but make sure you're also doing the work on self. Make sure you're also keeping in mind that you can be damaged from a previous relationship. Make sure you also keep in mind that your mental health impacts your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind also impacts your mental health. What you're also thinking about, what you're always considering, what you always feel, or how you think some certain things are going to happen is what manifests itself, right? And so you have to be very careful about those thoughts and those patterns and really assess, like, okay, what do I keep thinking, or what do I keep doing to keep producing this same result, right? So keep that in mind. Hey, Maria. I'm not quick to call a nigga first all the time, especially if he says I'll call you back and forgets to. I'm the prize here, and I'm bettering myself, going to school, etc. Exactly. Forgets to call you. And most of the time, it's not even that they forget. They're genuinely doing something. They might say they're gonna call you back and not do it just to see how you will respond. And then other times you might really be busy. So let's say you're doing something energetically. He might be like, you know what, let me call her. And something tells him not to. Right? Like this stuff, I don't know. It's a bunch of little logistics, but try not to get caught up on that part though. Because when you get caught up on the little things, it makes you sort of miss the bigger picture type things. So it's like, okay, yeah, you're doing this, but I'm watching for his character. And obviously this depends on what your goal is, right? So if you want to just date, some of you don't have a lot of dating experience, so you're like, I just want to go out to eat. So he got to do every little thing right. He has to call and text and then check in and make sure the date is confirmed and all of that little stuff, because that's all you need in that moment. But when you're looking for someone who has a certain character, little things like, okay, did he call back? Did he do this? Did he do that? If he constantly doesn't keep his word, that's not a man I want to be connected to on any kind of level, right? Because I want a man who has integrity. So I hope all of this helps someone, and I am going to attempt once again to post this to my YouTube channel. So I'll let y'all know what I've been doing. When I do these lives, I really want people to catch them, like when they see them. And sometimes I know y'all can't. Y'all be working like what? It's 4:10 Eastern Standard. So I know you always can't. So I post them to YouTube, but I post them like the following Wednesday. And so I think this one will go on next Wednesday. We'll see. But yeah, that's how that goes. So if you're like, love, you said you were going to post a live, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, it's going to go up there, but it might take a couple of days. So don't feel like I forgot about you. But I love you, ladies. I have to go. This is my comida. Hi.
That was love, right?
Yes,
right,
thank you.
All right, have a nice one.
You too. And yeah, I will be sure to connect with you all very, very soon. Will you be making a video talking about women giving it up too easily and becoming the butt of a joke? Well, I can talk about sex, and I don't really know, like, what do you mean becoming the butt of a joke? I can do a video about sex, though, for sure. Because as I said, well, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I was talking about how when you go into the big leagues, because y'all know I'm doing only strategy this season, when you go into the big leagues, it's easier to want to have sex with these men because they have their stuff together. But just because it's easier to desire them and to be sexually attracted to them doesn't mean act on it. In fact, the men that you like, that's when you really need to hold out the most. And the men that you don't like, don't have sex with them, period. Ever. Don't men look down on women who have sex with them without doing shit for them first? Absolutely. They may say they don't, but they do. The dynamic of the relationship changes. Unless you are already getting what you wanted from the beginning. Gotta wait on them to invest. Their bread is different every time I come here. Luckily for me, I like bread in general, so I don't really care. But yeah, I'm about to go because I'm about to eat. But I'm gonna post this to YouTube, so you'll see it eventually. And then when you matter of fact, make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel if you're not. It's Hanging Out with Love up there. All right, bye ladies, have a good one.